All right, what up, guys? This is Josh Arce. I'm 24 years old from Chicago. Debut album dropping next month, Late to the Party. I want you guys to get to know me better, so here we are. Yo, what up, guys? It's me, Josh. Back in the old neighborhood. I got an album dropping next month, Late to the Party, which I'm super excited about. But I feel like in order to fully enjoy a project of that nature, you guys got to see where my roots are and where it comes from and where that sound develops. So I'm here, I'm gonna take you back to my block where I grew up. A lot of great, Hispanic culture here. I'm Puerto Rican, so this is kind of our first area that we came to in Chicago when we moved here. So right here, my dad used to actually own a cafe at this corner here. It was called Click On Cafe in the early 2000s, and I pretty much grew up here. My dad was working here like crazy, my mom was working here like crazy, and we used to have these parties here, like little karaoke kind of things going on. So I think that this is where my love of music first started,
I'm not good at relationships. This happens every time. 'Cause I know when you're faking it.
Nice to see you, bro.
to see you.
Well, you're a little kid, man. Shit, look how big he is.
It's such a blast from the past, man. It's just so crazy to see this again. See you again. I haven't seen you in like 15 years.
His mom don't even let him out walk the streets, man. That's how strict she was.
Yeah, she would. Yeah, they kept me locked up inside.
She'd be in the front door of the restaurant. Josh, get inside.
Hell no. I definitely want to come back here more often after the album and just show love back to the community and show love back to the kids who go to school here where I went to school, It's a rough place to grow up. It's a place where, we didn't really have much coming up. But we made the most out of what we had, and really what we had was each other, and the neighborhood was like a family. It was like a community family. So, again, I'm just grateful and I'm blessed to come up out of here, and I hope that everybody who knew me from here gets to hear the album and hears the project and understands that you can do it too. It doesn't matter who your family was. It doesn't matter where you came from. This is to all the kids who went to Mozart. This is to all the kids who grew up on Palmer and Avers and grew up in Logan Square and didn't really have much. You guys can do it too.
You know, it was you. Baby, I hope you know it's nothing new. And despite of all the bullshit and the things you put me through, I hope you know.
This is crazy, hearing all the final versions of every single one of these songs. And I still remember the starting point of every single one of those songs. So hearing them at that point is crazy. And at this point, it really feels like it's make or break for me right now. And there's something about this feeling I get when I hear this album right now. We're just playing it in the car, and it's just really sitting different in my spirit right now. And it feels like right now is the time. Well, COVID, man. Who was ready for that? I don't think anybody was ready for that one. Life as we know it stopped and hit a standstill. And in some regards, I think that we needed that. And I think that, it gave us a lot of time to reflect and gave us a lot of time to get to know better who we are as people without outside distractions. But when COVID first hit, that's when I first started working on my album. They kind of happened at the same time. We just worked through the whole pandemic. I don't think there was ever a time during the pandemic that we weren't working. It just made us focus even more and made us lock in.
I'm not leaving this bed without you.
So in the end, it was a beautiful thing.
I just wanna think it through.
The human connection flourished. The music really reflects that.
Nothing but good vibration. nights when the sun comes up before I even get my eyes closed. Yeah, waking up in sorority houses with a couple girls that I never met before. Yeah, they know me from my songs, but they don't know where I've been before. And when I'm meant to be happy, baby, this is just how it goes. Yeah, yeah. Don't know where I'll be in a couple years, but we'll see how it goes. Ooh, it's gonna be one of them nights when my girl calls up and she said, boy, you better take your ass home. One of them nights when every girl at the party smelling like my cologne.
It's a long, long road. So I think my first like experience with music and brush with like creativity was my brother was bumping 50 Cent in his room all the time. And I was just like, I wanted to be like my brother. So I was like, man, this is kind of hot. I was bobbing along to it. And before you know, I started rapping them songs and, just getting into that because of my brother. So from there, I started watching like MTV music videos and BET videos and seeing like how dope everybody was and how dope everything was. And I wanted to be that. So I kind of started replicating that. I had a little karaoke machine I would rap on. I seen like Kryptonite, I'd sing all these different songs with my mom and stuff. But, that kind of evolved into 4th grade singing like the little Christmas pageant. From there, it was just like that, to a talent show, to the next talent show, and the next talent show. And before I knew it, it was just something that would come naturally to me. And it was just something that whenever I'd feel an emotion that I didn't know how to convey, I would do it through music. And, I wasn't too well versed in instruments. I wasn't too well versed in singing. I never had lessons or anything like that. So I was kind of trash, to be honest. But it was a way for me to convey my emotion, and it's something that stuck with me. And I think when I was about like 13 or 14, I started a little garage band. Me and my homies started making music in a garage, and from that point, I really fell in love with it. I got into music at my church. I was playing worship music for a few years, and I was able to connect with God, and I was really able to connect with who gave me those gifts and who gave me those talents. So it's been a long journey. From that point, I joined a band, and I played every big venue in Chicago in high school, and I got to experience a lot of really cool things because of music, and playing sold out shows, sold out rock shows, House of Blues, seeing the walls of signatures, signing my name next to Guns N' Roses, It was things like that that really stuck with me and kept me going. I kind of felt like I was in a phase where I was evolving past the kind of music I was making at that point. And I felt like God was leading me to this like new chapter of my life. I was just kind of at rock bottom. My dad just kind of gave me an ultimatum, and he was like, look, you need to get your shit together. You gotta work somewhere, you gotta figure something out. And I met the interviewer here, AKA my manager. You guys know Jesse. If you know me, you know him. And it was from that point on, from that point forward, where I saw a spark in him that I hadn't seen in anybody else up until that point. And I guess he saw the same thing in me. Usually I know in life it's like the way that I personally experience things is like when I reach a storm or when I reach a point where I think I'm at my lowest, that's when the next door opens. And I really feel like that was the door that opened for me.